I'll start.
All right.
So, Iran has shown again and again it cannot be trusted to follow with its agreements. Its leaders have hidden nuclear activities from the IAEA, America, and the West in general. They support militia groups through the IRGC, spending more than $1 billion per year in funding with them, and violently repress their own people, my people.
Okay.
We tried diplomacy in the past to stop these threats to the West. Give me a second, man. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, so we tried basically diplomacy and sanctions to stop these threats, but it failed, right? So I believe limited strikes against the IRGC's nuclear assets are justified to delay and eliminate Iran's nuclear program. However, we should not do a ground invasion because it would risk more Iranian and U.S. soldiers' lives. Yes, that's it.
Okay.
The
So
floor is yours.
my opening statement would be before we go into open dialogue is this. Um, what I would say is that before the war started, Benjamin Netanyahu came and met with Trump 2 weeks before the war started, and he pretty much dragged us into the war with Iran because one, they want regime change to have greater Israel, and two, they want to a greater Israel will actually benefit them so they can have all trade and 80% of the world's oil reserves. I don't think this war is at all America first, or what Trump promised was no new wars. And I don't think that all because Iran has the capabilities of making a nuclear bomb that justifies it to us going to war with nuclear bombs, because Israel has reportedly 200 nuclear bombs or nuclear in their arsenal. So I don't think it would be justified to go to war with Iran for that reason. If their enemy is allowed to have nuclear bombs, I think Iran, for power checks, are allowed to have nuclear bombs. And I would prefer to have nobody to have nuclear bombs at all, of course, but definitely not. Definitely, if Israel's allowed to have nuclear bombs, then I think the Muslim countries around should be allowed to have nuclear bombs, or else there's going to be an unfair power disparity that will give Israel the power to take over the Middle East and give Israel unchecked power. To me, I think that this wasn't justified at all. I think Israel dragged us into this war, and yeah, so we should. This war was completely unjustified, and yeah, that's pretty much my opening statement. I don't know if you want to get into open dialogue now, or if you want to rebut that or something.
Great. So you're basically saying it's not justified because Israel dragged us into this conflict, and you believe Iran should have nuclear powers, whether or not,
No,
good or bad.
well, I believe that since Israel has nuclear bombs, it's only fair for Iran to have nuclear bombs, or for them to allow to have nuclear bombs. Not even that they should. If they want to, they can have some.
Okay. Where do you want to start?
So I want to ask you. So Tulsi Gabbard came out and said that there was no evidence of Iran making nuclear bombs since Midnight Hammer when we bombed their nuclear facilities. Whether you agree with that or not, do you think that was justified to launch a full scale war, pretty much, and threaten ground invasion?
On the regards that they didn't restart their program after Midnight Hammer, is my argument is you cannot like destroy the sign like Wait, hold up. In June 2025, right?
Mm-hmm.
Israel and the U.S. attacked multiple nuclear facilities, including Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan, right? With
Mm-hmm.
B2s, right? So, according to a leaked defense intelligence agency assessment, argued that the strikes only set back the program a few months, and noted some enriched uranium have been moved. But even that report confirms that that the sites were not intact. Right? They
Mm-hmm.
only sustained significant damage.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they didn't even destroy it completely. They just did a lot of damage to it, basically. And from some new intelligence we've got, it showed that they moved their uranium to other facilities, hidden facilities. And
Okay.
yeah, my source uh, is the understandingwar.gov .org. My bad.
Okay. Yeah. So the yeah. Okay. So here's the thing with this. If that was true, right? One, I'm not denying that maybe we didn't take out their whole nuclear facilities and stuff like that in Operation Midnight Hammer, but again, what Tulsi Gabbard said doesn't really debunk my claim in terms of them not making or trying to make nuclear bombs, and that also wouldn't defeat my second premise, which was I think that they should be allowed to have nuclear bombs if they want some because Israel has nuclear bombs or 200 reported nuclear bombs. So I
Okay.
that's debunked my second premise,
Yeah,
but
okay,
my
okay,
first
okay. Yeah,
premise,
perfect.
yeah, my first premise isn't debunked at all because I still think they still have. I don't think they actually were making nuclear bombs according to Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah, but Tulsi Gabbard, where does he get his information from, right?
Tulsi Gabbard is the director of intelligence.
No, okay, my bad. I have no idea who that is,
Hmm.
to be honest.
Yeah, she's the director of intelligence. So if she's saying that, well, there's no evidence of them making nuclear bombs, I think that we
Okay,
went to this war for regime change.
okay, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna start with why they shouldn't have nuclear bombs, then we could go on how
Hmm.
to stop them.
Okay.
Okay, like this, it's easier for both of us. So basically, why shouldn't they have nuclear bombs? First of all, their goal is to destroy the West and specifically the United States. They call the United States the big devil and Israel the small devil. Whether you agree with Israel being the small devil or not, that's a different argument. But the fact is, they say death to America every day. They want the United States destroyed, and they've proven this over the years by unaliving a couple like 1,200 American citizens with their proxies.
Hmm. You good? You
Yeah,
done? Okay. So what I
yeah.
would say to that is that one, America is not really in danger. I would say that more Israel's in danger, and that wouldn't justify us going to war because one, the only reason why they're against us or necessarily want to kill us is because, well, Israel, we're their biggest supporter. We are pretty much the only Western country that still supports them, and if Netanyahu comes to our country, well, he won't be arrested compared to all of Europe. So they see Israel as probably a bigger enemy because there's a history there between Muslims and Jews, but also I think the main reason why they hate us is because that we have this unreliant support for Israel, and I think one, if we just cut support to Israel, they wouldn't hate us as much, and two, I still think that they won't be able to affect us because one, we have the best navy in the entire world, and two is that they are so far away from us they can't launch it from their country. So it would be more of Israel's problem compared to ours.
Right. So what I have to say to that is they're still attacking and unaliving American soldiers because in the next 10 years, like it or not, we're not gonna the United States is not gonna cut up Israel at all. It's like not
Eh,
realistic, right?
we'll see about that.
No, think about no, because like uh, we have politicians taking like a shit ton of money from APAC
Hmm.
for like the next two terms at least, which is 8 years, right? all support for Israel is not going to get cut off until 2030 also because of Congress. We have a deal with them selling um, uh, like giving them money to buy US arms, right? So Israel is not going to go away in the next 10 years, but what is going to happen in the next 10 years is Iran having about 200 nuclear warheads. I have
Okay.
a source for that too.
Okay.
and
Um.
them being a Shia country also has an impact to this, right? Because they're a religious state. Their goal is to destroy all the kafir. Kafir means all the disbelievers. In the Quran, it says, "Kill the disbelievers, whenever and wherever you find them."
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. So the problem with this logic, I'm gonna go into two things. The one first part you said and the second part you said, with
yeah,
the
of course.
Quran. Okay. So Israel. Okay. Even if you don't believe the U.S.'s liberty was deliberate, they still killed American civilians in the U.S.'s liberty. We didn't go to war with them. Also, many times in American history, they would other countries would kill American civilians. Does not mean that we didn't go, went to war with them. In World War One, they did that, and we still stayed out of it until the very end. So I don't think that all because they killed U.S. civilians, it means that we should go into war and spend like 8 months to a year in an endless war, probably. And the second part you said was that in the Quran it says to kill people, which I do agree with. The Quran says some awful stuff. As a Catholic, I disagree with them, but the Torah, not the Torah, the Tanakh says the same exact thing. Was it Tanakh? I forgot the script, the Jewish script, but it says many evil things about Christians. We've had many rabbis say that one Gentile's life is not worth a fingernail of a Jewish person's life. So to say that they want to like take out Western people, sure, I agree with you that maybe they do, but that doesn't justify us going into an endless war again for those reasons. I think that Iran poses no threat to America at all, pretty much.
Okay, I have a question. Who has the right to declare war?
Who has to declare war? Like, what do you mean by
Yeah,
like United States?
yeah,
Well, formally declaring war, it would be Congress. The Trump can't formally declare war.
exactly. So what's the last war the United States had?
The last war, I mean, I don't have it off the top of my head. I think the last declared war might maybe Afghanistan, maybe Iraq.
The last declared war the United States had was World War II.
Oh, really?
Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah, through Congress, right? Yeah.
So yeah, or like the president does not cannot declare war. It's just been a couple strikes. So this is not a war. It's just a conflict, like literally every other president, including Bush, Obama, and Trump. You know, like yeah. And I'm gonna expand on your claim that oh yeah, we should not attack every country that like Israel attacked the U.S. liberty, right? Yeah, I think Israel should be sanctioned for that. You know, I'm not like a how can I say this? Um, I'll support Israel just because it's Israel. I'm not like that. You know, I think if Israel killed and damaged U.S. property, they should be sanctioned for it. The sanctions could be from reduced funding, removal of some support, U.S. soldiers, whatever. The president could choose because he's the commander in chief.
Okay.
So
Go. Thank you. Go.
yeah, yeah. And Israel having nuclear weapons, I don't support that either. You know, because it does say in their book to destroy. I don't know what you said, but yeah, I don't support that either. What I know is the difference between Iran and Israel is they don't scream death to America every day, and they do not say their formal goal as the Islamic Republic of Iran is to destroy the West. They don't say that. Yeah.
Okay, so what I would say to that is, I with Israel, right? Um, it doesn't matter whether you think they shouldn't have nuclear bombs. They do have nuclear bombs. I don't think anyone in the world should have nuclear bombs, but the reality is, a lot of countries do have nuclear bombs. But it's just to keep a power check, right? And I think that it is fair. It's not fair to tell Iran that you can't have nuclear bombs when your arch nemesis, Israel, is saying, well, we're going to have nuclear bombs and we're going to threaten you guys and we're going to, attack Gaza. We're going to do this and that. The reason why they're attacking their or using the proxies is because Iran has no other way to keep Israel in check because Israel has so much power with the United States, with the tech advancements with the United States, and also with Israel allowed to have a nuclear bomb. I think that it's really hard to tell me or imagine you're telling Iran that, or just take it from Iran's standpoint, is that, well, my enemy is having a nuclear bomb, but I'm not allowed to have one. So if I'm ever disobedient to Israel, they can just nuke me and ruin my whole country. So that is something to worry about as Iran, and I see it as justifiable for them to have a nuclear bomb, even though I'd rather them not to have a nuclear bomb. I don't think it needs American involvement inside or in this.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, I get your point. Perfect. So I'm gonna give an analogy. I'm not. I know. I'm gonna give some context before. Iran has been funding terrorism since 1994, killing more than 1,200 U.S. soldiers and committing Islamic Jihad. Like, Iran has been providing arms funding to Lebanese Hezbollah, Palestinian groups including Hamas and Islamic Jihad, and including Iraqi militias. Okay, and not only that, we can trace it back to some other bombings internationally. Like, for example, Iran backed the 1994 AMIA bombing in Argentina, which resulted in over 85 people dead, supported Iraqi militias that have killed some US troops, and ordered the 1992 Mykonos assassinations of Kurdish descendants. And not only that, they put multi-million-dollar bounties on multiple people, and the most famous one I could find was Salam Rushdie. He was writing a book, right? So Iran has been proven to fund terrorism around the world, right? So I'm gonna give an analogy now for all of this. With this understanding of the Middle East, Iran is basically a lunatic, right? Do you think we should give a lunatic guns?
Like we give them
No. Do you think a lunatic,
a
right, which
lunatic should have
like
a
funds
gun.
terrorism? A lunatic which funds terrorism around the world more than $1 billion per year, having a huge weapon which could result in millions of people dead.
They should have a gun. They should have guns or nuclear bombs.
Or like anything. Should they have a weapon of mass destruction?
Um, in the context that you're removing is that Israel has nuclear bombs, and also again, I agree to you that they're committing terrorist actions all over the world. It doesn't mean that they shouldn't be allowed or should not be allowed to have a nuclear bomb. Like I agree with you that Iran is not a good country. They're an evil country, but that is not debunk my point that I think that Israel is a worser country, and they have nuclear bombs, and we don't
Yeah,
see
but
we don't see the United
yeah,
States going after them. We don't see Europe going after them, and Europe recognizes them committing genocide. That does not justify them or us going to war with them. That's more of a Middle Eastern problem compared to us. We're not in the Middle East. We're in North America.
So according to the International Arms Committee, Iran could have nuclear weapons reaching the continental States by the year 2030.
Reaching continental, reaching us.
United States, yes, by the year 2030. I can provide the source. Give me a second.
Reaching the United States. How?
Yes.
So how would they can't. Okay, first of all, it's impossible for them from Iran to launch a bomb all the way at us. Second of all, if
You
they
don't
launch,
need to. You don't need to be in Iran to not launch a nuclear bomb. You could have one of your friends do it for you.
who like
Russia.
China.
Russia's near you.
Okay, so
Russia's near you.
if Russia does
I'm
this,
not. Yeah.
let's say Russia does this, right? Russia one loses massive amount of business to the point their economy collapses because they are heavily reliant. I think like what was it, like 50% of their GDP comes from crude oil. So if they launch a nuke at the United States, they lose business from Europe and the United States, so their economy goes bankrupt. So they wouldn't do it. It makes no like sense for them to do that. And if you go with China, well, the United States has a there's like a business contract pretty much where we're both relying on each other. If we stop buying from China, their economy collapses, and if we stop importing from China, well, we have a lot of shortages in a lot of things. So we're dependent on each other. So for them to launch a nuclear bomb at us makes no sense, and Iran can't reach us from there. So there'd be no strategic way to do this without ruining the global economy, which no country wants to do.
I'm sorry, could you repeat what you said? I didn't fully catch that.
Okay, so for Russia to launch a nuclear bomb at us would be economic problems. For reason number one would be that there's a lot of their GDP comes from crude oil. So pretty much 50% of their GDP comes from crude oil. So and we're like one of the biggest buyers, and so is Europe. So if they launch a nuclear bomb at us, that would mean that they lose like 50% of their GDP and their economy collapses. So that would make no sense for them to launch a bomb at us. And also they have like 2,000 bombs, so why would they not launch one by now of their own? And number two, why wouldn't China? Let me re-say this. With China, their economy is dependent on us exporting or them exporting things to us. So if they launch a bomb at us, they lose like 60% of their GDP on manufacturing. So
Okay.
it wouldn't be possible. It would just be economic disparity for them. You have to remember the United States is
Okay.
okay. Go,
Yeah.
you go.
I think. Look, it is inconsistent to treat Iran as a normal country in regional security, while the United States government puts them in the terrorist organizations, right? Like, if it was for defense, okay, good. But any U.S. policy must start from the reality that this regime, okay, institutes and structurally commits to supporting armed groups that target civilian and allies, okay? We could argue if Israel's an ally or not in another debate, but yeah, which Iran funds a bunch of armed groups that target civilians and allies. It's very inconsistent to treat Iran as a normal country in the Middle East while we say they're terrorists, right? Iran is just not a normal state like any other.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. I never made the point that. I mean, I think there's a straw man in a way that I never made the argument that Iran was a normal country. I never said that. I think they're an evil country. I think they do want to kill the West to some extent because we are a Christian country. America is a Christian country. The West is a Christian society. But again, I am not treating them as a normal country. But that doesn't mean that we go in and try to one bomb their nuclear facilities, and two, I have to ask you this question, right? Would it be justified? I don't know if you. I don't think you live in. I think you live in Canada, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you this question. Hypothetically, if we started making nuclear bombs, would it be justified for Russia to bomb us?
Um, it would never happen because the United States already has nuclear bombs.
No, no, that's not the problem. That's not, just hypothetically. I'm gonna make the analogy more precise.
Yeah, make it more deep. Yeah.
Okay, hypothetically, Russia has 10 nuclear bombs, right? And we're their enemy.
Yeah.
And we have 0, but we start making nuclear bombs. Would it be justified for the United States, or not the United States, Russia to start bombing our nuclear facilities and kill our civilians and stuff like that?
No, but there's a but in here. The United States does not fund terrorism around the world. They do not support armed groups, and they do not commit Islamic jihad. That's the main difference.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that, first of all, so you said no, right? So that means that
Yeah,
take
but
it from Iran's standpoint, it wouldn't be justified. Two, the main reason why they commit so much terrorism is because actually, I'm not even defending terrorism. That's not good, right? But that
don't defend terrorism, guys.
I'm not gonna defend terrorism. I'm a Catholic, but that still doesn't debunk the point that we shouldn't go into a war with them. It would still be unjustified, and there's better ways of handling their terrorism, which is actually the only way to stop their terrorism is ground forces and going for a regime change, or else they'll continue to do this. So saying that the reason why they can't have nuclear bombs is because they fund so much terrorism, that's going to continue unless you take the regime out. So you actually be arguing more for a regime change war, which would need ground forces.
No, the reason I brought all the terrorism they do is because they fund it. It's like it's easy. It's easy. If I have look, Iran's like a supplier to them. If the supplier gets a like you're going to Walmart, right? They supply you with food, clothes, pencil, like whatever you need, right? When they get a better product, a better weapon per se, you would want to get that product, right? You wouldn't be like, no, I don't want the better war like option that could kill more people. That could that. Look. Um, are you seeing my camera?
No. Oh, now I am, yeah.
Oh yeah. Defend our territory, right? You would not say no to that, right? Iran would happily give it to their allies. And because they're giving it to these multiple terrorism groups that commit a lot of that commit a lot of crimes around the world, Iran shouldn't be trusted with this. You know, we tried to isolate them with the IAEA, which failed. They violated it. We tried to bomb them, which is going pretty good in my opinion. And yeah, it is very inconsistent to treat them as a normal partner. Normal partners do not fund terrorism around the world. Normal partners do not do not support these groups. Normal countries do not commit Islamic jihad.
Okay, so so just say you're the United States and you're Trump and you're a dictator. How would you end Islamic terrorism, or not Islamic terrorism? That's a whole different topic. How would you end Iranian-funded terrorism?
Iranian-funded terrorism.
Yes.
How would I end it? I would put a bunch of sanctions on them for them to not have any money to fund this terrorism. I would not go for a regime war because that has failed in the past, but I believe with Iran it would be different. That's personal belief. But for the sake of this argument, it would not work.
Okay. So how would you? Okay. Trump in the first term put the heaviest sanctions on Iran. Reagan put heavy sanctions on Iran. Every president has put pretty heavy sanctions on Iran. But what's always happened is that they just fund more terrorism, or they just use the money that they have to fund terrorism. So the only logical way that we've seen in the past is to do regime change, so we can stop doing, or they can stop doing terrorism and stop funding terrorism. Taking out their nuclear bombs won't do anything. They'll still fund terrorism, as we've done in the past. And same with Midnight Hammer, they still fund terrorism. So saying that they can't have nuclear bombs won't do anything. Now, saying that I don't trust them with nuclear bombs is another thing. I don't trust Israel. I don't trust any country with nuclear bombs. But that doesn't mean that they're not allowed to have them, right? And that's the underlying question. You're saying that, well, they might fund terrorism. They're an evil state. I'm not disagreeing with you on that, but I'm saying that it doesn't stop them from funding terrorism. The only way to do it is to regime change, which you're openly against. So what's the point of doing this and ruining the global economy, making oil prices go up? For Trump, it's politically awful for him. This is the most unpopular war in American history. So, there's no justified reason to do that.
Okay, I could. Okay, the difference. Okay, even let's say they don't stop funding terrorist groups, right? Let's say they don't stop, right? Do you understand that nuclear bombs are far worse than a standard bomb?
Of course,
are much worse than a normal one, right? The sole like even if they fund terrorism around the world, that's another story. But nuclear bombs are far worse. Even if a single one hits one of the major cities in the United States, it could cause more than 1 million deaths. Okay, and I'm going in the top 10. Okay, if it hits a city like New York, it would kill about 9 million people. If it hits Los Angeles, about 3 million people. And if hits literally any other city in the top 10, it would kill about 1 million people. I don't support any killings, but what I do support is destroying this threat that openly says I want to kill you.
Okay. All
For
right.
example, if we take this in like in any other case, in a civil case, right? If I say I'm going to kill you, I would be sanctioned, right? I would be arrested, I would be whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like that in with the current world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Iran does not get sanctioned for this, but they're openly stating their goal and how they're going to, how can I say this? How are they going to do it? Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, Pretty much. Well, I have to say this, right? And you said that. Well, Iran is a huge threat, and again, I'm not disagreeing with you. And you're saying nuclear bomb is awful. Again, I'm not disagreeing with you, but this is the problem. This is a logical problem that you're gonna have, and you're gonna have to say yes to this. Or if you say no, then the bombing Iran is not good. China is a threat. They have nuclear bombs. So is North Korea. Should we go in and bomb them and bomb their nuclear facilities?
Okay, I see it. So, regards to that, we should have, the United States should have bombed North Korea a long time ago. Okay, it's, for me, like, we should not allow any state that openly says death to America, that is openly against the United States, to have nuclear weapons. And no state should have that. The reason why we're not currently bombing North Korea is because they already have it. Okay,
So why don't we just bomb their nuclear facilities right now?
because they would launch nuclear weapons
Mm-hmm.
on our allies, including Japan, South
Okay.
Korea, like Philippines, for example.
Okay. That was a bad point.
This is the reason why we're not doing it with China or North Korea. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question now. Would regime change be preferable
No.
for you?
No.
Do you think would a different regime in Iran be better for the United States and its national interests?
Depends. I don't think it'll be long lasting. I think radical Islam will take over again.
Well, according to the Iranian people, so I'm not making this up. According to the Iranian people, they don't want Islam anymore in their country.
Okay, well, that's
They
great.
want
That's
a
great.
democratic system, right? And 88% of Iranians are against the current regime. So
Yeah,
the
but
the, the argument that it wouldn't be uh like it wouldn't last is not like
yeah.
whatever.
So this is the problem, and this is what's gonna happen. This is what happened in all of the times we tried doing and putting a democratic government in office, and when we had George Bush and these neoconservative presidents and administrations, they would try to do regime change. It works for a couple of years, and next you know, another radical regime that's even more radical than the last one comes in, and they start oppressing their people. That's what's gonna happen again, right? And it's not worth American lives to do that. To me, it's not. I don't think it's
Okay,
worth it. That should be Israel's problem. Israel wants to do nuclear. Israel wants to do regime change. They should go do it, not us.
okay. My thing to that is the difference with the other regimes you're talking about. I assume is Afghanistan and Iraq, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So regards to those, that population did not choose its leader. The United States put one in.
Okay.
Those countries never supported the person that the United States put. The difference with Iran and those countries are the Iranian people have said who they want. The Iranian people chose already their new leader. It's just a matter of fact that how are they going to reach it, right? So yeah, this is my argument to it's not going to last. The reality is that it probably will. Because the Iranian people already chose their new leader. They already chose their new system, according to a 2023 study. They already chose a lot of things that the other countries didn't choose. So this new system is already more prepared than the last ones would ever be.
Yeah, you're just not thinking 20, 30 years in the future. You're thinking now. And when stuff starts getting rough, like we saw in the revolution, where the country sucked, high inflation, the Shah was awful. Well, guess what?
What was the Shah for?
I mean, okay, we can. I don't want to move the topic to that, about the Shah, but the Shah wasn't liked. So, and then guess what happened? A Khomeini came, and he became
The Shah
dictator.
loved his people. The Shah loved his people.
We can get into a debate about the Shah, but I'm talking about what happened in 1979. The Shah was
Right.
not liked. He was unpopular, and there's massive protests. And then the Islamists, they kicked him out. They killed the leftists that helped them get into power. And that's what's gonna happen again 20, 30 years in the future. We did that in the 1950s. We did regime change. It lasted for 20 years, and then another Islamic regime came in. I think that's what's gonna happen because, in terms of radical Islam and just Islamic culture, that's kind of what happens. You can see that in America right now with Sharia law and Muslim immigrants supporting Sharia law. I don't think that we should.
That's why the Shah get deported.
Okay. Okay, but so are you arguing for regime change now, or do you want regime change war?
Personally, yes, but not really. I want to be practical.
So you want regime change, but in the theory,
Personally,
you want regime change, but it won't. You don't want ground forces, and
exactly. Like no, because like currently in January we saw 3 million protesters go in the street. The regime was fell, right? We
yeah.
killed
So
their leader. We
this
killed
sounds like
multiple things.
this sounds like something that the Iranian people should deal with, and not America. And this is also sounds like something that Israel should deal with, and not the United States. They pose again no threat to us. In the practical,
No threat is it's not true.
I can tell
Of
you a
course
way.
they pose
I
a
can tell
threat.
you a way that ends all terrorism. Right? We block immigration from these radical Islamist territories. Right? We actually just let no. Actually, I prefer no immigration for the next 10 years. Right?
That is
We
bad, but
we can get to that later. We deport every single illegal immigrant, and pretty much a lot of terrorist organizations, a lot of terrorist attacks don't happen anymore because there's no more immigration. And the second thing is how would they pose a threat to America? They are really far away from us. They can't launch a bomb at us, and I've told you it's unpractical for Russia or China or any of their allies to launch a bomb at us. So, what threat do they realistically pose to us?
that in 20 okay, we established that nuclear bombs are a horrible weapon, right? We also established that if Iran gets a nuclear weapon, it will fund it to its proxies,
Okay.
right?
So
I'll give you a source that it says Iran would have 200 nuclear weapons that would reach the continental United States in 2030, right? I also give you that.
Okay, well, how would they reach us?
Look, I don't know. Look at the source. I'll send you.
Because
Discord.
the only way they reach us is through Navy, and where Navy will blow them up. So that's just not a threat. And also, they won't bomb us. To think that they will bomb us, it makes no sense. Again, they lose. One, they'll get obliterated by the entire NATO and Israel. And two, it ruins their global economy because the global economy revolves around us. So why would they ever do that? It makes no sense in terms of incentives.
Because the Islamist doesn't care about logic. He cares about his religion. The Islamic doesn't care about human rights. He cares about his Quran. The Islamic doesn't care about anything besides his religion.
Do you think he cares
Right?
Do you think he cares about staying in power?
The Islamist doesn't care as long as he kills the other person. In Islamic jihad, have you read the Islamic jihad?
No, but I don't feel like that answers. I feel like that.
Okay.
It's a non sequitur.
No, look. in Islamic Jihad, you you either die, okay, directly to heaven, right?
Okay.
Or you either win, you stay alive and win, and you go capture their woman, okay? You make them slaves, children and women turn into slaves. All the men get killed in Islamic Jihad. Okay, it's not my words, it's the Quran. All the men get killed, and you get all of their richness. So for him, it doesn't change anything because he's going to heaven either way if he dies, right? He doesn't care about the economy, he doesn't care about anything. He just cares about going to heaven.
Does he care about staying in power?
Again, he does not care about anything
So,
besides going to heaven.
so hypothetically, so he does not care about staying in power, right? So why isn't Iran just starting war with Israel and just trying to kill every single one of them possible? Well, they haven't because he cares about staying in power.
Well,
And you also do have foreign relations, right? They pretty much are at the palm of China and Russia. They will not launch a nuke at the United States because China and Russia will not let them do that because pretty much it's just a proxy of those two, right? They get most of our oil, they get all this other stuff. So again, China will not let them do this. Russia will not let them do this. The likelihood of them ever launching a nuclear bomb at us is so slim to none. I feel like it's kind of just a slippery slope fallacy with them. You're saying that they're gonna launch a bomb at us. I think Israel has the right to be worried, but that sounds like an Israel problem.
yeah, but Israel is America's allies. They would, if they launch it, they would launch Israel and American allies. We
Well,
established for the next until
I
2030.
listen,
Until 2030.
I don't see Israel as an ally, so I don't see that we should need to protect them. And two, that's a Middle Eastern problem. I'm more of like a Monroe Doctrine guy. I don't want to have any affiliation with outside of Europe. I don't want any affiliation with the rest of the world besides the Western half. So I don't really care
No,
if
it
they.
doesn't. It's not. No, the difference is, yeah, you don't consider Israel an ally, but almost all American politicians do.
Yeah, but
Am I
that
wrong?
doesn't. Yeah, but most of the population. First of all, that's a ad populism fallacy, all because some if the government believes
Not
that's
some, the majority.
the majority.
That's the
Okay,
difference.
that's an ad populism fallacy. And then second of all, I can do a ad populism
I'm sorry.
fallacy.
What fallacy?
Ad populism.
What fallacy?
Ad populism means appeal to popular opinion or something like that. All right, it's a logical or appeal to masses fallacy. I'll give you that, right? And then second of all, I could do my own appeal to the masses. Most of America doesn't like Israel. They don't see it as an ally. And third, actually, most incumbents or most people getting elected are anti-Israel. So it's only the Republicans, really. Eventually, the Democrats will be completely anti-Israel. And eventually, the Republicans, within 10 to 15 years, they'll be anti-Israel. But I don't think that, well, America sees it as an ally, therefore we should go and defend it and go do their wars for them. I don't think it's just justified at all.
So you don't think America should defend the Europe?
Well, under NATO, we have to. We have a NATO agreement. But to me, I think that if they got invaded, yeah, but I think they're a better ally than Israel, right? And I don't think Israel's an ally. I think Europe is an ally. But yeah, I would defend Europe because personally I think they're an ally, but I don't think Israel's an ally.
Yeah. So yeah, if they get um nuclear weapons, they would also attack Israel because they're in the West.
That's
They say
again,
death to America, death to Israel, and death to the West, which the West is in general the Europe, right? So even if they get nuclear weapons, you would still be dragged into this conflict. So why don't stop them now and avoid nuclear war? So it would be easier for NATO or for most of Europe and the continental United States. And yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Why would you stop them now, which you have the ability to, and not in 10 years?
okay, so this is what's gonna happen, and this is what's happened for all of history with Iran, pretty much, because they've been wanting to make a nuclear bomb since 1994. Is this? We bomb them, they enrich uranium again. We bomb them, and we keep going through the cycle until the JCPOA, where they broke it, and we bombed them again, And the same thing has happened. This is not a permanent solution. The only permanent solution is regime change war, which you are against. So there's no reason to do it anymore. It's a, actually, it's a draining on resources. It's a drain on the economy. And I think at this point, we should give it up to the Middle East. That's the Middle Eastern's problem. That is Israel and Saudi Arabia's problem. We've done our job. We've bombed them enough. I think that the only job the United States has is to put sanctions on them. That's it.
To put sanctions on them.
Yeah, I think that's.
Well, we already
I'm okay with.
we already tried to put sanctions on them. It failed. We tried to put a JCPOA, which they violated. So what the only solution we currently have is to destroy all of their facilities for them to not even have the opportunity to have them.
Okay, so this is the problem with this, right? This is the problem with this. Eventually, what Trump is doing right now, since he's the Strait of Hormuz is pretty much locked down, is Iran's. What would happen is that Trump's gonna have to come to a table and make a deal to release sanctions. And what do they do with that money? Well, they use that money to fund proxies. So it's actually be a net negative for America in terms of the economy that it's been trashed here, and also we're gonna have to release sanctions on them. That's the only way we get them to stop making nuclear bombs. And again, we're not gonna. This is not. There's no permanent solution other than regime change war. You can't tell me a permanent solution. Also, the ad in under Trump's
agree with regime change.
under
Personally, I agree with them.
yeah, but practically, as an American, I don't want to do it. I think if Israel does it, I'll still be against it because I don't want their government to have regime change. But actually, I don't want their country.
Why wouldn't you regime change?
Me, because I don't want Israel controlling a bigger country and having more sphere of influence. I don't want that.
A regime change would be practical for all countries, no?
No, not for the United States.
Why wouldn't it be practical for the United States? A more friendly government to the West would be in power. The Iranian people would be free. There would no longer be a threat of nuclear weapons under this new regime, under this new government. Mm-hmm. It would solve everybody's problem.
Again, so it's a non-permanent solution. I'm pretty sure that another Islamic regime will come up and go through the ranks. But we can.
Do you have any proof of this?
Well, it happened the first time we did it.
Where?
We did regime change war in the 1950s, and then in 1979.
In what country?
In Iran. We did regime
change war.
Yes, we installed the Shah. Yeah, we installed the Shah in the 1950s.
No, you didn't.
Yeah,
the Shah has been in power since forever.
No, we installed the Shah in the 1950s. We went to war for their oil reserves.
No.
Yeah, you can fact check me on that.
No.
Yes.
Okay, give me a source for this. Give me a source.
It's
the
history.
United States went for.
Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Are you talking about the 1950 Mossadegh?
What did you say?
Are you referring to 1953 Mossadegh?
I have no idea. What the hell are you talking about?
Are you talking about 1953?
No, I'm talking about when the United States allies went into Iran for their oil reserves so we can have oil.
What year?
I don't know the exact years.
What year?
I don't know the exact years.
What's the name of this hypothetical situation?
I'll find it for you. Here.
Thank you.
It's in the 1950s.
I think you're to 1953. I don't know.
We did a coup. Yeah, we did a coup. So yeah,
1953. Okay, so
1953,
basically,
yeah.
Okay. It's not a coup, to be honest. People call it a coup, but it's really not, and I'm gonna explain why. Because in Iran, it's a monarchy, right? It was a monarchy back then. So Mossadegh was trying to do a bunch of changes, and the people elected him, right? The Shah came and when they elect the president, the Congress has to bring him to the Shah for the Shah to approve. If the Shah doesn't approve of this new president, the elections would have to start over with a new candidate, right? The Shah disapproved of them. Mossadegh went and cancelled the parliament, and started being president on its own. By Iranian law, he's not allowed to do that. So the United States came and helped their ally at the time remove this illegal president. How would this be a coup?
Well, actually, here's the thing. Actually, from what I'm reading, they did restore the Shah to absolute power.
Yeah, exactly. The Shah
So,
should have been in absolute power from the start. That's
okay,
the
so
thing.
okay. Wait, so we did do a coup to give the Shah the absolute power. Okay, so
Which he was
that
supposed to have.
that's true. Okay, so then what happened when we after we did that coup? What happened afterwards? Well, Islamic regime took over. It's actually pretty common when we see in the Middle East where there's a liberal nation and it kind of just gets taken over by a Muslim regime. We can see that through Afghanistan in the 1950s where they were way more liberal than they are now, where they're making women wear burqas and stuff like that. It's common throughout history, and also when we did the coup, 20 years later, actually, 24 years later, I was born 24. It's like 20. Was it 24? Yeah, 24 years later, the Shah gets overthrown, and Khomeini takes over. So it's
Okay, yeah, but the 1979 revolution, it does not involve the United States.
okay. Well, actually, I would say that it was actually the way we handled it. I think the way Jimmy Carter handled it was the worst way possible.
It was
By
horrible.
I agree.
It was horrible. It was
Ah,
like this guy went and supported the Islamic terrorists. Like my mind is still blown to
well,
this day.
I think that what Jimmy Carter did was wrong was that he showed too much support to the Shah, and the Shah was so unpopular at the time. And what happened was that they hate the West. That's actually one of the reasons why they hate the West, because we had that unrelented support for the Shah, and the Shah was so unpopular at the time. But it showed that the Iranian coup did fail, right? And I think that the same thing is gonna happen again. Well, if we put the Shah, I don't know if you want the Shah in power. I don't know who you want in power, but whoever we put in power,
Pahlavi,
okay, right.
Reza
So
Pahlavi. There.
we put them in power, I think in 20 to 30 years, the same thing's going to happen. Just like it happens with all liberal nations in the Middle East. I think that Islam, the religion of Islam, is incompatible with Western values.
Yeah, and I agree. That's why the majority of you are not even Muslim.
Okay.
Like no Iranian in Iran, okay, the majority are not Muslim anymore. Most of them hate the current regime. Most of them hate Islam. Most of them hate the current system that they're in. They want democracy. And
Okay, well
what's
then
the current...
that's not the U.S.'s job to do that. That is their job, and that's for the countries around them.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
not.
yeah. Okay, perfect. I'll tell you why it would be the United States' job. This would return to their nuclear program. If they have nuclear weapons, the United States could no longer attack the country of Iran, which
Okay.
would do two things, right? Why wouldn't they attack them? Because it would be too risky for them. They wouldn't want to risk nuclear war. Nobody wants to risk nuclear war.
Okay.
That's why this government would be in Iran forever. You would not. You would no longer have the chance to have a democratic country in the Middle East anymore. And before the revolution, Israel, America, and Iran were the best allies ever. Having more allies is always better than having more enemies.
Okay. So, again, with we can't attack them, right? I really don't want to attack them. Again, I'm a paleoconservative. I don't want any foreign intervention at all, pretty much, unless it's absolutely needed. And to me, this is not absolute needed, just because with that, I don't want to attack them. So actually, your argument wouldn't work for me because I wouldn't want to ever attack them. Because here's the thing, they're Islamic proxies. Can't really attack us in any way. I don't know how they would, right? And two, you haven't. That doesn't substantiate. I feel like that's a non sequitur. It doesn't follow what that makes the U.S.'s job to do this. First of all, we don't have a job to do anything besides serve our own citizens, which this war has not done.
What would you classify as serving your own citizens?
Serving my own citizens, putting them first. So, putting whatever be
Okay,
in their
perfect.
interests first. So, protecting their workers over other countries and stuff like that.
Stuff like that. Okay. Yeah, but protecting them from nuclear weapons is also putting them first, right?
From other country having a nuclear bomb.
Weapon and their goal of attacking the United States.
No, I don't
It
think
would probably.
I don't think that's putting them first because again, I would have to follow that. Well, we don't want North Korea to have nuclear bombs, but they do have nuclear bombs, and guess what? Well, we should go to war with them because we're scared of them launching nuclear bombs at us. They make the threat all the time. Well, I wouldn't want to do that. So
Yeah, but like yeah, but if you went to war before, okay, you can clear. North Korea is a good example, actually. Good point. North Korea could possibly launch nuclear weapons in the United States at any time. Do you agree this is a threat?
no, I don't think they can really reach us.
Big
Also,
or small? Big or small? Could it be a threat
I don't
if
think
one of the systems fail?
I don't think they can reach us. But no, I don't think they're a threat. Well, I don't think they're a threat.
If one of the United States systems fail, okay, in defense, there would be a chance of a nuclear weapon reaching continental United States by North Korea, right?
Again, I
We-
said
could we agree on this?
again. I said they weren't a threat. I don't think they're a threat.
Okay. You don't think? Why don't you? How isn't North Korea a threat?
They're under the
If
thumb
they
of
really wanted, okay, go ahead.
they're under the thumb of China, and China will not let them launch a nuclear bomb because if we stop buying their goods, their economy crumbles. So that's how the foreign relations work between them.
Yes, but hypothetically,
The hypothetical
if North
is
Korea
illogical.
wanted to, China wanted to, North Korea wanted to. Okay, China gives them the approval. North Korea launches a nuclear weapon. One of the, it's like, is there even a slight chance of it attacking, hitting the continental United States?
If they launch bombs at us,
Nuclear weapons, not bombs.
okay, well, nuclear weapons. If they launch nuclear weapons at us, well, yeah, of course. But I think that's not. I don't think that'll ever happen. Because you know why? We'll just launch bombs. Yeah, but we'll just launch. South Korea will launch bombs at them. Japan will launch bombs at us, and we will launch bombs at them. So it would be illogical for them to do it. We all have nuclear bombs. It's a power check. Okay, it's a power check. That's what Iran wants. They want a power check on Israel. Like, they're not a threat to us.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's no threat to us. Why would I ever do it? And we don't.
Having a country that okay, go ahead.
Go.
No, go ahead.
I don't even know. Just I forgot what I was gonna say. You could go.
For sure. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, but at the start you said you agree that it is inconsistent to treat Iran as a normal partner in regional security. Do you agree with the statements?
Yes.
Okay. So if it's inconsistent to treat them as a normal country, right? Why should they have the capacity to have one of man's worst creations?
Okay, so let me give you a hypothetical that will prove my answer. In the 1960s, I'm against Israel, right? In the 1960s, they were making nuclear bombs, and we were trying to get them to stop. Do you think it would have been justified for us to bomb nuclear facilities in Israel?
No, because they were an ally.
And that's actually Dwight D. Eisenhower was actually pretty rough on them, and actually JFK considered cutting funding off to them. So was it they were actually our alliance was breaking because they didn't want to show us their nuclear facilities. Do you think that would have been justified to bomb their nuclear facilities?
There's a thing. They don't fund terrorism.
Okay, I'll give you a better example. How about Pakistan? They have nuclear bombs. Should we have bombed them? They fund terrorism.
Yes.
We should have
Yes.
bombed Pakistan.
Absolutely.
You know that.
Bomb Israel, like bomb a shit ton of countries.
Okay.
Like no country should have nuclear weapons besides the big four.
Okay, well, Russia and China are threats to America, and we're okay with them having nuclear bombs.
That's different.
How's that?
I'm gonna give you why.
How's that different? Okay.
It's different because with them having nuclear bombs, they're in the big four countries. I like the big four: Israel, China. No, my bad. The UK, China, Russia, and the United States. They're the biggest countries, and they dictate what happens in the world. Right? These four countries. They could do whatever they want. It wouldn't matter to anyone, right? The main reason why they have it is because one of their allies, one of their enemies made it. But Iran is not in the big four. They're not a big superpower. They could not be trusted with this big, immense weapon that
Nor
could kill
can
millions of people at any time.
nor can Russia or China. We don't trust either one of them, but we're okay with them
Say
having
that again.
nuclear
You
bombs.
cut out.
Russia and
Sorry, say
China.
that again.
Russia and China are threats to the United States, but we're okay with them having nuclear bombs because it stops us from going to war with each other. The thing is, this will keep us away. Actually, the nuclear bombs will keep us away from war because we both have nuclear bombs. So you can say with the Islamic regime will try to launch nuclear bombs at us. I disagree with that. I don't think they will because they're under the thumb of China and Russia. You could say with their Quran, they kind of answer to China and Russia as a fact. And I just I don't see them ever launching a bomb. But again, it goes back to my first premise, which was Russia and China. They have nuclear bombs, and we're okay with them. They're actually a bigger threat than Iran with nuclear bombs, so I don't see the problem.
Yeah, they would never go to war because they would never launch nuclear weapons. Why? Why would they never launch nuclear weapons? Do you know?
Iran or China and Russia?
China and Russia.
Well, China and Russia will never launch nuclear bombs at us because of the economy, and we'll launch bombs back at them too. Those two reasons combined. They're contingent on both.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, well the same thing will
Iran
happen.
is a radical state. Yeah, but Iran is a radical state that does not follow them. And another thing is you have to consider that they're Muslim. This is like one of the biggest differences between China, Russia, and North Korea or any other state. You have to consider that they're Muslim too. Their goal is to destroy all the disbelievers.
Okay,
Like let me read you the verse from the Quran.
I know the verse. I agree with you. I've debated Muslims before. I agree with you. They try to. They want to. Doesn't mean that they are and that they can. With a new again, there's a contingent thing. It's a conjunction between the three. Economy, right? They can make a lot of money, right, with oil sales. It makes their country more powerful. It's also contingent on China and Russia if they approve of it, which they don't. And there's also the third part of the conjunction is this that they can't reach us. So, what's the thing? I don't understand the problem here.
But when there's a study, no, but when there's a study of with a bunch of experts saying, they would reach continental United States by 2030.
You have to label me how.
Yeah, of course. Okay, let me find the study.
Again, even if they did, I don't think they would launch. I don't think they will launch them. I think it's just a power check on Israel, which then Israel does need power checking right now, because what they're doing with their power, and I just don't see them ever launching a bomb at us ever.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me find it. Dude, I have to go in like 20 minutes though.
That's fine.
I hate to cut this short.
We've been going for about an hour.
Huh?
We've been going for about an hour.
Oh, okay. Um, Congress. I don't trust Congress.
Also, another thing is that I just don't think it's worth American lives. I'm gonna keep it honest. We have had 18 Americans die, and like no Canadian soldiers have died. I think you would view it different if Canadian soldiers died. American
No,
soldiers.
it's the same thing for me because I'm moving to the United States in a couple years.
Ah, okay. I don't think
Yeah.
that. I don't think it's worth the American lives. Again, 18 of them are dead, and Trump promised no foreign wars, and we are in one right now. So
Yeah, but it's not a war; it's a conflict. Literally,
that's
every other.
they are synonyms for each other. Conflict and a war are synonyms. Okay, so like, it's the same thing.
Look,
It's
okay.
a category error you're making here. It's a category error. It's still a war. Whether you don't need a declaration of war to count it as a war. Vietnam was a war. Iraq was a war. Afghanistan was a war. All these were wars. It doesn't have a declaration of war. It doesn't make it not a war.
Mm.
Yeah, it's you're making a category error.
No, but according to U.S. Congress, it's only that could. I'm a constitutionalist.
No, they can't declare a war. Well, the president can't declare a war, but that's not making a war. It's still a war. It's just it's
No, it's multiple. No, because the president has 60 days to uh the president has 60 days to initialize strikes against any country he wants, basically, right?
yeah, but we're
According to
past
the
that.
1970
We're way past that. He's breaking the Constitution
How is he breaking the Constitution?
because the War Powers Act only allows you to go to 60 days, and then
No.
you need a
It's been
declaration of
multiple
war.
conflicts.
Hmm?
No, it's been multiple conflicts.
I agree with you,
It's
but
the same loophole.
I'm not disagreeing that Obama, Bush, and all those guys were breaking the Constitution, but it's just that they are breaking the Constitution. They're not supposed to do that. And when a president promises to get into no foreign wars, and when he avoided it in 2017 with the same problem, it sounds like there's more to it. It just sounds like more to it.
Okay, I found it. Look.
Hmm.
So experts, wait, I'll like open my camera. D2.
Hmm.
It's this part.
Uh-huh.
It's extensive run to produce long-range nuclear missiles and intercontinental missiles, and so that's such curious U.S. officials and some U.S. intelligence officials and U.S. allies, including France, Germany, and the United Kingdom, has expressed some concern about the potential due purpose of Iran's space launch vehicle program, noting that such a program could be used to develop ballistic missiles.
Okay.
In 2025, there you go. In 2025, the DAI assessed that Iran could use its SLVs to develop a military viable ICBM by 2035 should Tehran decide to pursue its capacities. All of this means that a ballistic missile could reach continental United States.
Where's to say that? Where's to say that? Because I see at the top was where the graph is showing. It only shows like maybe Israel.
Yeah, no, this is currently.
Okay.
This is today.
Where do you see that can reach the continental America? I didn't see that.
I could. Let me see. Let me find it. I'll send you the link actually.
Yeah, I'll read it, but I don't see anywhere where it says that it can reach the continental America or America.
Yeah, sure, of course. Iran's such could be used to develop its technical.
Yeah, you know how much you know how much tech. That's almost impossible. It will get struck down so early because we have so much intelligence in Iran, right? We could just do another JCPOA where we have like actual guys go in there and check out Iran if we want to make a deal with them. They can have nuclear bombs. And 3, actually, it goes back to my first point. The conjunction doesn't make any sense. But it just goes back to my first point that it would be seen so early because it has to travel so far that NATO would probably see it. Because remember, it has to go through all of Europe, across the Atlantic Ocean where we have the Navy and missile defenses. I don't see a point where I don't see a way that they do it.
Right.
It's and to me, I think that's impossible.
If one system fails, but if one system fails, it would reach it, no?
You also forget about all of NATO. They would see it, probably, because you see a flying thing in the air. And we would know that they launched a bomb. They can't do it in secret. We have the best intelligence agency with Mossad.
There we go. Yeah, but you were just against
I know, but Mossad would see it. Mossad would see a bomb and they'd probably shoot it down.
Missile threats.
Oh, from China and Russia. Yeah, from China and
this
Russia.
Is China. This is China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran.
Where does it say? Wait, hold on. Let me see the map again.
It's like all the fucking countries. It's from
China.
the.
Oh, let me see the map better. Okay, so that's China. That's Russia. Where's Iran on this map?
Let's see. This is the first time I've seen this shit too. So. North Korea, and Iran.
No, where on the map does it say? Because I could. No, where on the map?
Yeah, but it doesn't show all countries.
Okay.
Because this is the United States, and this is the Atlantic Ocean, right? Iran and like the other countries are at the back.
Let me see. Hold on. Okay. So, again, the problem with this is that I think one's unrealistic that they'll ever do it, right? And I might be moving the goalposts here a little bit. Obviously, this is interesting information. But again, this also, I think this hypothesis is heavily based on like the perfect outcomes for Iran. First of all, it takes years to enrich uranium, right? So you have that, and 2.
Yeah, no. But it literally says by the year 2035.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing. 2035 is not that long. It's in 11 years, no less. It's in 9 years.
I'm agreeing with you.
9 years, they will have 60 nuclear weapons, according to the Defense Intelligence Agency.
I'm agreeing with you, but now let's answer the